afternoon to you. Whoops, you
You
froze
have
there and you ran
it's
away.
you have sad eyes. Are you all right?
Are they sad?
Yeah. Are you
Uh,
feeling
sometimes I
are you
sometimes I turn a little Irish. Just a little Maureen O'Hara.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. My
And you
mother used to say Loretta Young.
a little bit of Irish scotch in your coffee this morning and
No,
no.
no, no. I've been a very, very good boy. I can be
Yeah.
I can be sad all by myself.
Okay.
Ollie, we'll put on our own show.
Okay, I got you. It's Saturday afternoon, and I
Yes.
got a couple little things. We're going to be joined by your better half in a moment or two, and we'll talk to Elizabeth Hirst. But please begin if you have things to
All
share.
right. I have just a couple of small things to share, actually. Uh, you remember you mentioned Johnny Carson's lawyer without remembering his name a few days ago,
Oh yes,
Bastic Bushkin. I
that's right.
thought for years they were making up his name. That is Henry Bombastic Bushkin. And of course, on his left is Johnny Carson. And many years later, he wrote a book about Carson, which was not all that complimentary. At the
Oh
very
my,
least, Johnny was a very, very unhappy man.
yes.
And his mom was a piece of work too, if you're to believe book. Well, not just by Bushkin, but other people who have known Carson and dealt with Carson and had met his mother. Uh, anyway, Bombastic Bushkin. I thought it was just a made up name, but it is Henry Baum. That was his lawyer, and this is him in later years.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when he really, really started getting
Yeah,
bombastic.
downhill. Yeah, way, way downhill. God.
And we renewed the mortgage
Oh, did
yesterday.
you?
Yep.
Okay.
So in about 7 more years, the dream home is ours.
Okay, so that shot is actually even narrower than the actual cell. So
Why do you
you're
think I never put on weight?
I see.
There we go.
Okay, you can click one more time. There we go.
There we are, and we're back.
Um, uh, Monday, I expect to receive a backdrop because here I'm sitting in my office bedroom here, so I'll have a backdrop which I will review for you. And I ordered it from a company. I think I mentioned it to you. A company based in they're based in Toronto called Banner Buzz. Can you see their website here?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And is it a
And
green chroma key, red, blue?
it is blue. This company is they have an office in Toronto, but the manufacturing is done in India of all places. So
Oh,
that's it's coming in from Gandhinagar, India via FedEx, and it should be delivered on Monday. So I'll provide you with a bit of a tour and a review.
which of course
Also,
means you can put up all sorts of like the Rocky Mountains again, right?
not on Skype, no.
Oh,
Zoom allows for backdrops. Maybe we can try Zoom next week again and see how it works. But no,
okay.
Skype. At least the basic Skype system does not provide for the for keying in background things. Also, masks. I ordered a couple of masks from this company called Shan. They're a swimwear company. They're based in Laval,
Oh,
and
okay. Good for you. Buy Canadian.
we were talking about this. I saw a piece I think in La Presse this week and they were talking about local and regional manufacturers. Man, they cannot make these things fast enough. The Quebec manufacturers are just working their hands off making masks, and it looks a little strange, a little corny, but we're going to be
Yeah, this
seeing
guy
more.
looks like a combination of a bad baseball player and an unhappy priest.
There you go. Next time you and I have lunch, I'll be coming in wearing something like this.
Now, there's still a debate about the effectiveness of all of them, right? And there's going
Yeah.
to be a debate about. I
Yes.
mean, I gather those big 95 things cost about $1,000, and they are the
Oh no, that's a
deluxe.
whole. You're not supposed.
Yeah,
The N95s are for
for
professionals
professionals.
only.
That's why I saw a Republican House of Representative member wearing one of the things, and my blood got to boiling.
Yeah, it's just no. These are fabric. They are
Hmm.
not medical grade, and they are meant to protect others from aerosols that would be uh, coming out of your particular system towards them. So you're going to
Right.
be seeing more of this. As of Monday, federal regulations are changing, and if you're going to fly, you have to be equipped with one of these if you're going to board a plane. So things are changing rapidly. So I will provide you with a review on the Shan masks when they arrive, and you can already see here delivery delay uh, may occur because, of course, the English here is not terribly well done, but because of high demand. So we'll see. And this
15
morning,
bucks.
yes. And again, I'm not vouching for the price. So there are a number of price differences in other companies, but I'll provide you with a bit of a roundup and a review on this either tomorrow or Monday. So I'll let you know how
You're
that
just
worked
getting
out.
the masks, right? You're not
Just
getting
the
the whole.
masks, yes. And there's Mr. Green Jeans this morning.
It's your neighbor?
That's me.
You're kidding.
That's me digging our herb garden. I was at it
It
at
is
about
you.
8:30. Yeah, oh yeah, look at me. And yes, and if you want photographic proof that I have no buttocks, there you go. That's the way. And I spent the
What are you
morning
doing?
digging.
You're digging your own grave.
I'm digging. And the cursing and the so it's an 8 by 8 roughly. And there's my box there. You see, we dug it all up,
Yeah.
and this is used lumber we had lying around for other purposes. So then I stacked a second, and there he is, of course, going, "Where's that damn screw?
all
God,
ash
I
shots.
had that screw." So, yeah, and if I had buttocks, you'd have the crack shot here, but it just the pants just don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And
I hope your wallet's in the house.
there's the doubled up with
Yeah.
the 8. And that'll be filled with earth and much mirth in the coming days. And I'm going to be, and there's me going,
Goodness, look at you.
is it 27 inches or 14? And then 2 seconds later, I stand up straight. God damn it, is it 57 inches or 49?
How tall am I?
That's right.
Yeah, Peter Whitall.
Yeah. So that's what my morning, and I'm back out at it when we're done here this afternoon to make my frames.
That's exciting.
My frames and my chicken wire and everything. So it's going to be
any survivors.
I'm winning household points for this. So
are you
on the big board? Yeah, I'm getting my gold star on the big board. So
okay, honey, I get to play Zorro tonight.
Okay, enough of this nonsense. Let's bring in Elizabeth Hirst. The beautiful and long-suffering Elizabeth Hirst, who happens to be your spouse. And Elizabeth and I have worked together on and off over many years in communications. She should be.
There we go.
There she goes. And she'll be clicking join call or something like that. There she is. Okay.
There you are with your shorter hair.
Yeah. I can't. Oh, there I am. Right. Okay. Hi.
Hiya.
I like the hair. I hadn't seen you in a long time, my dear. That looks very nice.
Yeah, well, she hasn't been able to cut it for a while, too. It was even shorter. There was a real,
This is called 3 months without a hairdresser. But it's, I'll just see what happens. And we're working up to Shaggy Dog. Yeah.
I kind of like it. We could play some games.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I had the 70s boy band look for a while, but that's gone.
Are you still teaching or working in communications? Yes.
Yes to both. And in fact, I'm going to be teaching via Zoom starting in May.
Okay.
So I'm doing all kinds of courses and webinars and panic attacks and various other things to get prepared. Because the course did you have your hand up saying panic attack, Dave? Yeah, he knows what I mean. He's been there.
No, but you're better at the technology than you think. You're better at the technology than you give yourself credit for.
Well, not bad. I mean, sometimes I get to this stage like, is this thing working?
Well, we're doing better than I thought so far this morning or this afternoon. So kudos to you. And have you tried Zoom yet? No. I'm not being condescending. I'm just saying that things are coming together quite well here. Have you tried Zoom yet?
Oh, yeah. I've been using Zoom for a while.
Oh, okay.
But I haven't taught using Zoom, which is different because this course coming up normally brings in guest speakers from various places. I had one who was planning to fly in from Nunavut. I have clients come into the classroom. I teach in public relations and communications, and we do in this capstone course a kind of mini cabinet or mini consultancies. So the clients actually come into the classroom and meet with small groups of students and make presentations, and the students get up and make presentations, and we have a whiteboard where some student gets up and writes things, and then we all click our pictures of it so we can remember for the next week. I mean, it uses every analog app there is in a classroom, and now I have to turn all of those into digital. We've got breakout rooms and chats and presentations, and I don't think there's a single feature on Zoom that I don't have to use. So I'm just a little, but it's coming together.
Because Beth, I was wondering, forgive me, Yvonne, I was wondering in your class too, you break up your class, say it's 25, right?
Yeah.
You break up your class into smaller groups. How is that going to work?
You have breakout rooms. And
oh,
you can
they're called
assign
okay.
students.
That's what you were referring to. Okay.
Yeah, that's a breakout room. I have one where I need about 16 breakout rooms because they're going to be in twos. And then I have another exercise where I need 7 breakout rooms as they're going to be in fours. And then by the time you get to the capstone course, a lot of these kids know each other. Kids, they're up to maybe 40, between 20 and 40. But they know who they don't want to work with because they were on their team last term, and the one last term wasted all their time on Facebook and didn't do their part. And so they start screaming if you put them with the wrong group. So somehow I've got to work out that I fix the breakout rooms so that the right people are with the right people, and you don't get somebody coming to you afterwards saying, nobody wants me on their team.
Oh my.
So
you got to be a mommy too.
Yeah, it's going to be a little delicate, but it'll be interesting. There'll be a book to write.
I'm sure, because my sister Lynn, who'll be joining us on Tuesday, teaches kids.
Oh, yes, I know.
And I believe she uses Zoom as well. So I'm looking forward to finding out what that's like. But okay, so the politics of it plays a big role in all of this, and who's going to go where.
It does.
I hadn't even thought of that. Wow.
Because for me, it's what they learn. It's what they come out of it with, confidence on what they're able to do when they finish the course. For them, it's about grades.
Of course.
Everything is about grades. And if they think that they're in a group with people who are going to slack off and they're going to have to do all the work and the other people are going to get the same grade, I have worked out the most complicated, what's for me a logarithm, to make sure that each student gets graded sufficiently on their individual work and less on their teamwork, but they still have to play a role in the team. It really is a kind of a complicated thing, but at least I don't get complaints. At least
Can we talk about the end game of what the course is? Like communicate, like you said, somebody coming in from Nunavut. It's basically to make a communications plan to tell the public about what you do, right?
Well, what is the name of the course, first of all? What's the official name of the course?
It's called Communication Planning. And then there's an undergraduate course that's combined with it. Thank you, McGill, which is called Cases in Public Relations, because it's cheaper to put 2 courses together and pay 1 teacher, right? So we have Joe Blow, who's got 2 degrees and is a practicing lawyer, sitting next to Joe Smith, who is just out of Dawson and took social because he didn't know what else to do. So somehow I've got to make sure that the teams that they're not on the same team and that they don't drive each other nuts. So that's an additional challenge.
And again, you're getting this for a company. The clients you have are
that's company. Right. The idea is we turn them into consultants, and they have to apply everything that they have learned in the previous 9 courses. So we bring in a real client who is a real client, a company or a charity who needs a communication plan. And I say, okay, kids, you are not writing for me. You are writing for the client. And they have got to learn how it is in the real world. Little bit of reality thrown into the classroom. Like after one client came in, a student put up her hand and said, I get the impression this client doesn't know what he wants. And I said, welcome to reality.
Exactly.
There we go.
Okay, so it's
Yeah, I can
the
see Yvonne's face.
yeah, no, I'm just thinking about all of the so the Dave Bronstetter, president of the Bronstetter Plumbing Company, comes in and he says, okay, this is what I do. I have X number of employees. I have 2 or 3 manufacturing plants. I need a comms plan, internal and external comms plan. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And crisis
As many as
communications,
possible.
crisis comms in there
Yep.
too.
It
Okay.
could be crisis. Ideally, they've got the government on their backs for something, their neighbors on the backs for something else, media knocking on their doors constantly for information. Social media has taken off because somebody started a rumor. Discontented employees. I mean, it doesn't all have to be going to shit, but there has to be at least 5 or 6 stakeholders so that they
Okay.
get a sense of what real life is all about.
And Bronstetter comes out of there with a plan, a pecking order, who speaks on behalf of whom, who answers the calls, who does this, that, and
Who
the other
answers
thing.
the calls, right down to in the detailed plans with clients who need it, how many napkins and forks I'm going to have for the launching and what it's going to cost me to get everything translated. Now, the first one we have this time is going to be much broader because we're working for Sea Change. And I don't know if you've ever seen that, but it's SEE Change. And the project, which is run partly by my next door neighbor, who is right out the window there, Rachel Cadell Monroe, works in Nunavut, and she was going to get one of her colleagues up there to speak to us. We'll still manage it by Zoom. They are working with Indigenous communities to give them the tools to manage their own needs so they don't have somebody coming down from government and saying, okay, here's what we're giving you guys, take it and do it like we say. It works from the bottom up, where they get together, they create their own tools and they say, okay, nice plan, but it wouldn't work here. Here's how we propose doing it.
Right.
Which is a whole different way of approaching Indigenous communities for Canada. And she's got a wonderful advisory board, including Stephen Lewis, who said to her, you guys are the ones who are going to change our relations with our Indigenous peoples. So it is
Boy, there's a lot at stake.
product. There's a lot at stake. There's a fabulous project. And I think the students are really, really going to get into it. And that's where the distance problem, the Zoom thing, is probably not such a bad thing, because a lot of this has to go on via Skype or Zoom or some other platform.
I was just going to ask you, because Yvonne, I know this goes right down to Dave Bronstetter having a bunch of microphones stuffed in his face. But in this unique situation, it's going to have to be a bunch of Zoom interviews too, right? Like if Yvonne's working for such and such a radio or television station, he's going to have to do an individual Zoom interview.
Yeah,
another one's going to have to be done by, right? This is dealing with the media.
Everything.
It's a new world. It's absolutely.
It's a new world.
Yep.
And while we want them to learn the kind of comm plan that they're going to be using in the future, a few years into the future anyway, we can't ignore the COVID-19 element. It's going to have to be built in. So it's going to be a bumpy ride, but it's going to be really interesting.
It'll be interesting indeed. Absolutely. Yes.
How do you build trust in the public? Because good communicators, to a certain extent, both of you know this, you're both in this business. Good communicators are often not necessarily trusted because people mistake public relations for trying to sell something.
Oh, thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave. There's a point for you, Dave.
You are.
I'm getting that radio show back, I tell you.
No more sleeping in the garage for you, boy.
There you go.
Okay.
An extra glass of wine for you tonight there, buddy.
Just how fantastic are you, Elizabeth?
We're not doing that.
But seriously, how do you
earn trust the way you do with anybody? By telling the truth, and by being accessible, and by being transparent, and by matching your words to your actions, and by doing it repeatedly. And there's too many damn people out there who do not understand that is good public relations.
And knowing
Lots of
how
people.
to do it. And this brings us back to the very beginning. The number of
Yeah.
organizations out there, small, large, medium, that have absolutely no comm plan, no clue,
Yeah.
is amazing. It's mind-boggling how many, and I won't mention any names,
Yeah,
but I've
that do
worked with
not know how to
enormous
communicate to the
companies that
public.
have
That
nothing
I've seen
planned.
it from the other side. They don't know how
Oh,
to
yeah.
communicate to the public.
Right. And this is what
I had a
I
guy who had a
I've been
bunch of
harping
from
on this for
Molson.
weeks. Yeah, I was talking about 3M and all these other companies in
Yeah,
the last
yeah.
few weeks. It's the same thing. It makes me mental to see this. And once
Yeah.
something happens to them, they're flying all over the place. They have no idea what they're doing, and they do themselves damage. They damage
Mhm.
their brand, and they damage the reputation of the brand and the employees and the entire company in doing so.
You got it. It's like not paying your fire and flood insurance. They're very happy to pay that insurance, but they're not going to pay for public relations because they don't need it yet.
Right.
One time when I was working for National Public Relations, we had an animal testing lab, which is a little bit controversial in some circles. And we said, look, you need a crisis comms plan because at that particular time, PETA and a lot of the other animal rights organizations were at a peak. They've calmed down a bit now. Another crisis will bring it back up again. But we said, you have got to know what's going to happen so that you press the button when it starts and you start moving. No, I think, we're fine. We're not doing anybody any harm. Then I walked into the president's office a couple of weeks later. He was just putting down the phone and he was laughing. And I said, what's going on? And he said, guess who that was? And I said, who? And he said it was Jean-Pierre or whatever his name was. He's got a bunch of picketers outside his window. He wants to know what to do.
What to do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Please help me.
Yeah.
I'm drowning.
I mean, it is human nature, isn't it, Bets, too? We don't need it until we need it.
Yeah.
And then we don't know how to handle it. And you're right
So we
about
dive
the
under
big
the desk
shots, too.
and we-
I had a new president of Molson Breweries. He was named Canadian head of Molson and wanted to talk about basically a Montreal business icon with him in an innocuous radio interview. They got a couple of handlers, obviously, on him, and he got into the studio. He prefaced every comment with, well, Dave, and by the end of it, I was beyond suspicious. I was also bored to tears.
Yeah.
He didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, it's going to be
I'm so glad you asked me that question.
very
Yes,
interesting
exactly.
to see.
Or the real issue, Don.
Anyway, Elizabeth, bon courage with Zoom, and we'll have you back on again to maybe do a bit of a postmortem on that, because I know my sister Lynn has been having conniptions trying to get all this to work with the kids and all of that. So we'll find out what her experience is. But it is a new world. It is a new world.
It is indeed. Well, thank you very much.
Thank
Love
you for
talking to you
joining
guys.
us.
I
dear.
missed you, honey.
Yep.
I missed you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We could have gone on for a
Oh,
long
yeah,
time.
I could see
Yeah.
the hair rise. I could see the hair. I could see you were upset. No, you two are in the same business.
Yes,
it is remarkable.
We've been at it for a long, long time. I've worked with Elizabeth many times over the years, and we get along like a house on fire because we know exactly what the other one is thinking, and we had very, very good relationships with the clients with whom we worked. But it is, I've been trying to suggest this in the recent weeks. It's critical now for you to know how to handle your communications now, and because you have to protect your brand, and people are taking notes, they're taking names, and they're keeping track of who can do the job and who can't.
And half of it, as you know, is convincing your client to follow your prescriptions.
Yep.
I'm not trying to be arrogant about Betsy or you, but you have to go in there telling them, look, I'm the professional right now, and if you take my advice, things are going to turn out okay.
I think
I don't know if you say it that bluntly, but
No,
that's
I
what you have to convey.
I do. It's a good cop, bad cop situation with me, and I'm usually the bad cop who comes in, brought in by the agency and others. And actually,
Well, that's a stretch.
oh yeah, Yeah, but actually, if there's someone else who was more or less in my wheelhouse, there it is Elizabeth, because she's quite direct with people too, and you take a chance doing that, but you're not there to stroke the fur in the right direction, as it were. I'm translating that from a French expression, but you're there to tell people what's what, and so anyway.
Yeah, and to do it and that takes experience, and it takes a talent, and it takes a touch. It's not easy to do.
No.
It's
And
not.
you have to remind, we're going to close on this now, I think, but you have to remind the people that the most important person in the chain is your client, the person at the other end, on the other side of that screen. That's the person you're talking to. They don't really care about your priorities. They think of theirs first. What's in it for me? It's a perfectly human way of seeing things, but that's how we all consume.
Yeah. Why should I buy that?
There you go. And if you're talking to me, if you're addressing my priorities and those of my family and my immediate circle, then I'm going to like you more. It's not any more complex than that. This was a lot of fun. The time flew by.
Flew by. Well, Betsy's course starts in May, so maybe we'll talk to her after her first couple of weeks. It's once a week.
Coming up, so Tuesday, my sister Lynn. Wednesday, Andy Nelman is set to speak with us.
On Wednesday.
On
Okay.
the 22nd.
We have Susan Pinker. It's just she's so busy, as you might imagine. I'm still trying to pin a date down.
It's terrific that she even accepted. I'm really
she's thrilled.
Pleased. And Andy too was very, very busy, so that'll be a lot of fun with Andy Nelman and a couple of other people in the wings here too. You and I can talk about, and
Mitch Joel.
Mitch Joel, another one too, who we're trying to schedule.
Now, is tomorrow just you and me?
It's just you and me. Yeah, I'll be talking more about.
I got to come up with more pictures of you looking at a microphone.
About the masks and about other things.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay. Why did you decide to go? Of course, people are going to have to wear them.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
So we can talk more about that tomorrow.
Take it easy.
I got to go measure lumber.
More pictures, please.
More pictures.
Everybody just loves them.
Pictures tomorrow.